Hey, what's up everybody? This is Meath24, and today I'm going to take a look at the Thanos Infinity Revelation comic from Marvel, and this is written by Jim Starlin, who was the original creator of Thanos, the guy who wrote and helped create the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Crusade, Infinity War, all those big event comics from the early 90s, all the weird cosmic Marvel stuff from that time. I really like his writing style. It's maybe a little bit dated in the sense that it's a little bit more fantastical and adventure-oriented, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. I think he's one of the best writers from that era and has done a lot in shaping the current Marvel universe, especially considering stuff like Infinity, where Thanos plays such a big role, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where he's going to play a huge role. He's a really interesting villain, and it's hard to, I think, classify him as always being, a typical villain, because there are certainly some aspects of his character where it's not necessarily evil, just that he's, in opposition with the larger Marvel set of heroes and all that. But this artwork, I think, is really simple, but works well for the series here on the cover, because you just have Thanos' face, Thanos the Infinity Revelation listed at the top there. I don't know specifically when this takes place in the Marvel timeline, if you will, but it's sometime after all the Infinity Wars, Infinity Crusades, and all that, and I believe after Annihilation, but before Infinity. So I believe it's sort of a precursor to Infinity. It's also not meant, I think it's deliberately not meant to be clear as to what all's reality and what's sort of in Thanos' mind, because he goes on these sort of adventures with Warlock, sort of through time and space, exploring, their dynamic, how things have unfolded over the years, and sort of a self-discovery is sort of the whole focus of this comic. So we have here on the back, there's Lady Death. She plays a minor role in this comic, sort of kicks things off there. We have some really cool artwork here on the inside, showing off Warlock and Thanos and all these different locations from the comic. And I think it's a really nice presentation for this comic overall. You have an introduction here, sort of the history of Thanos and Jim Starlin writing the character and all that. And then we have the return of some older characters from the cosmic stuff that haven't been featured nearly as much in the more recent Marvel comics there. So it's really cool to see them come back. The art style is sort of a hybrid between old school Marvel and new school, where maybe the characters look a little bit more cartoonish to a certain degree, but we're using the more recent designs, the obviously digital animation style that Marvel's used for the past decade or so. And so it's kind of this weird but really cool meeting point between those. We do have some inclusion of Silver Surfer and Ronan the Accuser and some of these other more current Marvel cosmic characters. One of the weird things about this comic, though, is that Adam Warlock's outfit keeps changing back and forth between his new school Guardians of the Galaxy lightning bolt sort of costume there, and one of his old school costumes with sort of the poofy vest. It doesn't stop changing the entire comic. I'm not sure why. It just goes back and forth the whole way through, and I'm not sure if that was deliberate, in that you're not always aware of if it's in Thanos' head or if something's actually happening, or if this was an oversight on the artist's part and they just sort of forgot about it later on. So I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. It's a little, I guess, distracting at times. But overall, this is a well-done comic to explore more about, Thanos as a character. It's not necessary to set up for Infinity, but if you read it before you read Infinity, or even after, like I did, it's kind of a cool little, I guess, side story there. And it does well to sort of bridge the gap between old school Cosmic Marvel and new school. Old school being where things were more, fantastical and sort of 60s, 70s magic type influences on the space angle, whereas the new school is definitely more space opera. I don't know if Star Wars-ish is the right way to describe it, but it's definitely more classic space opera as we understand it today, the classic science fiction sort of thing, instead of space fantasy. But then in the back they do have like a little listing of a bunch of other works by Jim Starlin on this side, and a bunch of other Thanos-centric stories on that side, like Thanos Imperative, Infinity, all that good stuff. So if you like Thanos, or if you like Jim Starlin's writing style, I definitely recommend this. It's a really cool one-shot there, and just an interesting read for something different from Marvel, or at the very least different from what a lot of their more current comics are. And I do like their current run of comics. I've been buying a lot of them lately, as you've seen, but I also appreciate some of the older stuff like Jim Starlin's work. So if you're into that, definitely give it a look, and with that, I will see you guys next time.